just preseason, the transition, everything's went. I think pretty positive, pretty proud of our guys. Like our group, appreciate the way they've tried to buy in and work hard, and I think we've done a decent job as coaches, trying to get the coaches on the same page. Our support staff, a lot of those people we kept that were here, trying to get those guys. But our strength coaches, Eric Anthony, who's awesome, or Chris Nero, our trainer, nutrition girl Ellie, brought in from TCU's a home run, just getting there. All those people, Nick, our equipment guys, been great. Getting all the support guys with the coaches on the same page. So again, I think the transition from winter through spring through summer ball through preseason's been good. It's time to play. It's a little bit different element when you start playing. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get, when the bullets start flying and all that deal. But I like the way our group is prepared, practiced, all that stuff. With our team, injury-wise, we're pretty good. I mean, Dorian Hopkins was coming off a knee, and he's back practicing. Chester Ball had to have a major surgery with his leg, and he's back, been playing really well on the offensive line. We did lose one of our freshmen, Reeves Baller. I got a non-contact ACL. It was a freshman outside linebacker, DN Jack player from Dallas. So he has required surgery, which he had a week ago, and he'll miss the year. Not really planning on redshirting any freshmen, but not planning on not playing them. I mean, they play, they don't play. You can play 4 games, so everybody's playing. And there's a point in time we decide, are we going to lose your year? So, all those freshmen can jog out. They're all going to, for the most part, probably be dressing for a lot of the home games. So, based on scenarios, they could get in the game, they could help you. Again, I think we've been did a great job, I think, managing the weather. We had some night practices. We'll have one again tonight. The beauty of Thursday night games means that Monday's a Wednesday practice. At our school here, Monday's a huge academic day. It's our guys' heaviest day, a lot of labs, a lot of things in the afternoon, between 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So there's no time to practice. So we'll actually have our practice this evening. It'll, I think, be the 4th time that we went under the lights. So I think that's kind of a plus with the first game being at home. So we've been in that arena. We've had the jumbotrons and the ribbon boards on to kind of get used to lighting and catching the ball and fielding punts and seeing signals from the sideline and all that stuff. So I think from an acclimation standpoint, I think we've had 2 days where I think we've had 2 or 3 guys max have cramped. I think we've handled the heat well. I think we've practiced. I think you can talk to a couple players today. A couple I've talked to that were transfer players said it's the hardest preseason they've been a part of. And at the same time, we're pretty healthy. And we've not tried to be like we practiced Saturday, Sunday early because we thought it was going to be 98 to 102 in the afternoon. And so that meant Friday night and Saturday night they had to go to sleep, which is not typical for a 21, 22-year-old college kid. But we're trying to educate, like we need to have a good practice. Last week it was 130, 140 on them. We took some, me and Eric took some water and Gatorade out to the band one day. They were practicing at 1 o'clock. I said, you guys think we're crazy. We're practicing at night. We're not here at 1 o'clock. It feels 140 degrees out here. And so, and the players knew that. We're trying to take care of you. We're going at night and they'll go hard. Okay, now we need to have a hitting practice. We're going to have to go Saturday, Sunday morning. There's no school. That's basically like a Monday, Tuesday this week in our routine. So again, I think the coaches, the staff, the support staff, we've done a great job of just trying to educate these guys on what we're trying to do. Then we'll learn plays and schemes. They've done a great job of that. So I think that's went really well. Captains, we've not voted on captains. We've got our 12 leaders. We'll do game day captains. As the year goes on, we'll have team captains for the year. We still want those 10, 11, 12, 15, 20 veteran key players to lead our teams. We'll have game day captains. We did recognize, part of our program is earning things. We call it meritocracy, which is one of the principles of our country and the way some things work in our world. And based on merit, you get rewarded. So jersey numbers that way. Guys didn't get to pick their jerseys. Sometimes they were assigned. Here's what you got. Well, we held jersey 0. Everybody likes the cool jerseys. So it was a big deal. Like we told them, like jersey 0 will be awarded after preseason. And as coaches, we'll talk about who we think is the most impactful guy. We felt as coaches that Kendarian Ray was our most impactful guy. We thought he should have the right to wear that jersey. He's worn number 1 for 5 years, so he wants to stay in number 1. So, but he did. We thought he was our most influential, impactful player. I asked him if he had an issue, if we maybe gave it to someone else, and he did not. So we're going to, jersey number 0 will go to Ben Kopinski, the transfer from Oklahoma State, who's came in and had a nice positive impact there. So that's kind of a pretty good thing there. Freshman-wise, again, I do think some of us freshmen figuring playing some. Luke McGrary at tight end is going to have a chance to play a fair amount. Maybe Grayson Tempest a little bit with special teams receiver. Maybe Cam Crooks, who's playing a hybrid receiver running back, the young man from Cushing. Kason Carpenter, an O-lineman, Bennett Ringlib, are in the depth. We're a little bit deeper in the O-line, so maybe they're kind of too deep, but we might be able to get a red shirt. They might play a little. Defensively, Tyler Rich and R.J. Jackson have really stood out up front. I think even though we got some returners, I think those guys can help. C.J. Turner at linebacker, a young man from Arkansas, has been very impressive. I think he can get on the field to help us. And looks like Devin Robinson from Union will be another kid. So those guys, special team, not that they're starting, but you might see some young faces pop out there. Most of the transfer guys that we brought in are probably in the two deep, and they'll be starting to play in. So got a decent amount of returners. We've had a good camp, and we're ready to play. So questions? I think somebody said maybe. Go ahead. Well, again, those are some of the faster guys. We're still a little bit young. Like to see us get stronger. Like to see that group needs to continue to mature. Looking for consistency, and we're going to need, whether it be Carl Chester, Nick Rippert, Cam Benjamin's probably with Presley about equal right there. Cam's going to play quite a bit, and then Malachi. Those 8 guys probably play the most, and maybe we get Grayson as we go through. But that group just is learning how to practice hard and be consistent, and when challenged, making challenge plays. You're not going to get wide open. They're not going to call pass interference and holding a lot. So you got to make plays when it's challenging, and we just need those guys to continue to grow. Ryan Switcher's a great young coach, working him hard, like him, love what he's doing, and those guys are doing well. But it'll be interesting as we play when the bullets start flying, how well those guys play for us. Yeah, he would probably be the starter if we walked out there today. So really, it's an or being kind to Ethan for what it's worth. He's played as well as any tight end.
What does he bring to the table?
He's probably the strongest. He's been the most consistent. He's still young, and I know when the bullets start flying, these young guys, it's going to be a little bit different. When you walk out there, we always talk about, I had a mentor always talk about walking a 2x4, and you lay it on the ground and walk the 2x4. Okay, now raise it up in the air 50 yards and start walking when the risks are greater. So when you get in these games, it'll be interesting. But his father was a high school athlete, was a basketball player. He's mature. He's a big guy, strong. He's played really, really well, and he has a chance to be a very, very good guy. And the problem with tight end is you got to block the same guy the tackle does, and you have to beat the same guy those receivers have to beat. So you basically play 2 positions, and that's hard as a freshman. And there'll be a point in time too, maybe just wear and tear on his body. So we're going to need Ethan, Connor Vaughn, Colby Powers, Bain Tribe. We're going to need all those guys to contribute, and we expect those guys to play. But right now, Luke McGrady was one of our freshmen of the summer, one of our best workers. We're very fortunate to have him. He's a good young player.
We talk about first game jitters for players a lot. As a head coach, do you get those ahead of the game?
I get jitters on Tuesday, Wednesdays. It's about practice. So I get more. By then, if you ain't got it figured out, you're stupid, run around crazy. They're gonna make some bad play calls, and they're gonna make some mistakes as players. That's just humans. That's just the game. To me, the angst is making sure on Tuesday. Like I went the other day, and with the coaches, I said, this play's not on the call sheet. We're not running this play. So don't practice it. Why are you practicing this defense? Well, coach, but they don't do this defense. So I want to practice. So I want the players to get confident in what we're doing. And so that being said, I'm more worried about Tuesday, Wednesday. We're having good meetings. Our guys are hydrated, ready to have a good practice. And then we go out, like, for example, we were out there Saturday morning, Sunday morning. There's some good on good. There's some one-on-one inside run. There's some one-on-one third down pass. And it's our best rush guys against our best. Last year we gave up 45 sacks. Hey, how about pass blocking? Quarterback standing here and make a throw. And so I get more amped up about a Tuesday, Wednesday. And then by Saturday, hopefully you're smart enough, you've tooled it back. Like I explained the other day, okay, we're practicing this play for a reason. And if you don't want us to call this play, make sure it looks bad in practice because we won't call it. So if you want this play to work, and here's a play we're trying to get you a touch. We're trying to get you the ball. When we call this play, we think we like this play. Well, if you want this play to work. In the NFL, they walk through it one time, practice it one time. If it looks bad, they're gone. We ride it a few days. But I was explaining to the guys yesterday, this is how we practice. This is how we do things to get you confident in what we're doing. And this is also, as coaches, how we get confident in you. And it's our job. Basically, the best thing you do on Thursday and Friday, you get it used to be the old, white out. Now you just hit, the backspace button and you just start taking plays out. And you basically do what you do, and then you let it go. And the hardest play to call in a game is the first play of the game. Years ago, we used to script plays, and basically when you scripted plays, you'd ask coaches what they want. Everybody wanted to play for them. I thought it was a collage. I thought it was over. True story to Oklahoma. I never knew what the first play call was, so I went in the press box. Went up the press box elevator. I'd go the right to the restroom. Everybody go to the box, and while I was standing in the restroom, I decided the first play. And I come and say, here's what we're doing. Because you got the hardest play to call is the first play. After that, it's just reaction. Okay, give me this, give me that, do this, do that, do that. You do the best you can, and by the way, you make a lot of mistakes while you do it.
You still got technically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but feel like this team is in a pretty good spot going in game one?
We've covered, not to be anal, but I came in a place where we covered and had great structure, and how we prepped and practiced, and we've had to adjust some just based on numbers or volume or coaching staff, what we do. For example, I saw the other night in the New Mexico game, it was 4:20, and the team scored, and the receiving team was up by 10. And I called Joe Bolden, you're up by 10, 4:20, putting your hands out there, right? Okay, they kick it deep, what are you going to do? And it's not a high kick, you can't fair catch it. So by the way, don't you think we should cover this more in practice? Because these are real game situations, and so I think we've done the best we can. I always say to our players, our job is a lot of on-the-job training, because there's just situations and things that pop up all the time that you're doing your best you can to anticipate. But we have practiced very, very hard Saturday, Sunday. We'll actually back off a little bit today. We're going tonight. We'll polish it up on Thursday, walk through Wednesday, and we're good to go. I think we're very healthy. I think our kids have practiced hard. I think we're getting tougher. I think we're at a decent point to start. Now, the hard thing is we're starting with an opponent with new coaches, and that's one of the hardest things to prepare for. What are they doing? You're looking at an offensive coach that came out of different colleges and at different high schools. You're looking at a head coach that's been a defensive coach, a special teams coach. You're looking at a D coordinator come from another place. And all of a sudden, you're looking like at 8 teams. And what you're not even watching is maybe their teams. Yesterday, I just went back and watched a lot of last year's tape just to watch their players play. So these first games can be a little, and as coaches, sometimes we can coach too much. So we've tried to do our best to keep it simple and get our guys ready to roll. But I like where we're at. We'll see where we start, and then we'll roll from there.
How has Daryl Simpson progressed through camp?
Really good. He's been very consistent. He's lost a fair amount of weight. Daryl's a guy that can push 370 easily, and he's been 340s. He's practiced every day. He's healthy. He's at a right tackle. Counting on him, he's practicing harder, and we're getting those guys running off the ball and coming off the ball, and that's like a lost art. I was taught a long time ago, you can't run the ball if you don't run off the ball. So you got to run and just getting those guys coming off. And I kind of like what Daryl's done. I think he's in a good place.
Most pleasant surprise, maybe on offense and defense on players for you.
Luke's been nice as a freshman coming in. Jordan Ford's had a really good camp at running back, and Billy Jackson too. Those guys have ran hard. Cardell Williams has shown flashes as a quarterback that can be a really, really good player. Defensively, I think those young D linemen can help us out in there. Ben Kapinski that you're going to talk to today, I think has been an awesome addition. Looks like DJ and Keywan Parker are going to help us out at corner a little bit. So I think to me the biggest surprise has been these kids' ability, our coaches' ability to try to connect and work them as hard as we could, and these kids not push back and buy in. And that's been the thing I'm most thankful and grateful for, is that every day out there, I'm screaming and rolling around having some fun, but these kids aren't pushing back. They're fighting, they're working, and like I say, I think, I make a big deal about practice. I love the arena. I love my practice field. I like my practice equipment. I like my practice gear. We got new practice jerseys. I like everything about practice. I want practice to be great. And I like the way our kids are practicing. Now, when it comes time to play, you still got to make competitive plays. You got to take care of the ball. Like yesterday was what we call money day. It's 3rd and short, it's 3rd and long, it's scoring zone, it's red zone. You got to make conversion, you got to make plays. But when good people are working hard and they consistently keep stacking up like that, you can see improvement. And hopefully as we continue to build, we just keep seeing improvement. And then along the way, hopefully we get lucky enough that we call the right plays, make some plays, and score enough points and play good enough defense and kick it well to win the games.
You were in the Big Ten, mostly for the last 25 years in OU, and that is a different level of ball. Is it tricky to, come down and work with these kids through off-season, spring, summer, and now August? And, I mean, I'm sure you have opinions on where they stack up, but is it hard to know kind of where you guys might be in relation to everybody on your schedule, if you will?
Yeah, that's a hard one because I didn't really look at the other people and know what they got. And I'd even tell recruits sometimes, sometimes I can't tell you what it's like to go to Tulsa. I can tell you what it's like to go to North Carolina in 1980 and 81 when Worthy and Jordan and Lawrence Taylor were hanging out. I can tell what that's like. That was my college. I can tell you that. And so I don't know sometimes what other teams have got. I just get consumed with what we got and trying to get our guys better. Like I say, it's been a joy to work with these guys in the practice field. So you just kind of like where you're starting, you see where it goes. I'm not shooting the bar low. I mean, I got some seniors that want to win now, so why not? But I will say from the big places I've been to small places, sometimes there's differential in talent, but it's really just more differential in how bad you want it and how hard you're willing to work. How much sacrifice you're willing to do as far as sleeping right so you can practice right. How much sacrifice you're willing to do to eat right so you can practice right. Put good things in your body. And because, I actually have some practice tape I'm going to show them today that I got of just again, these are how really good teams practice. And sometimes I don't think we got some players, I don't know if their skill set is that far behind those, quote, schools you might say are bigger places. But do they approach practice with the same? You say you want to accomplish certain things, but are you willing to make the commitment and sacrifice to get there? And so to me, I think that's the biggest differential. It's not a drop in talent. Sometimes it might be a drop in the amount of depth. It might be quite as deep. But the real sometimes drop is convince these guys, listen, you can go harder, and you can play better, and you can play smart, and you can play disciplined football, and you can play physical. And those, I haven't said anything about getting any stronger, any faster. I said you can play smart, you can play hard, you can play tough, you can play with discipline. Those are decisions, those are choices, and we've been selling the heck out of it.
You mentioned the scouting was hard because of the change in the coaching staff, but you looked at the tape and just wondered, was there anyone that popped off on you, and anyone that you noticed that caught your eye on the game tape for him?
For Arkansas Pine Bluff?
Yeah.
For skilled guys, again, you sit there and you watch, like last year, they play Oak State, and some guys, they get skilled guys that can run. Defensively, they got very active linebacker, safety. They got guys back at every position. They got some returning depth. I know they're going through a coaching change like we are. But again, I mean, I watched enough to know they got guys that can run, and they got, I think, a tremendous linebacker, a couple kids up front inside. They're coming back. They played a lot for them. They got a few transfers coming in. What does that bring? Again, I spent maybe more time worried about us and our team than getting consumed. And not that I felt like it was taking these guys. I'm not taking these guys lightly. I mean, we have practiced hard and we're doing everything we can to be smart. I'm just concerned you can over practice. Okay, get ready for this defense and this defense and this defense and get ready for this play and this play, because you're watching 3 or 4 different schemes. You're watching a head coach at Louisiana Monroe in 22 when he's the special teams coach. But then 21, he's on defense. And then D coordinator comes from NAIA school in Kansas. And before that, he was at different places. You're looking at an offensive coordinator coming in. It's been at IMG. It's been at small colleges, last year in high school. So you can get too much, it's information overload. The worst thing we got is that Google. We got too much info. And a cluttered mind leads to a slow football player. So sometimes I've tried to just worry more about us and look at them enough to have a little bit of a clue, but I don't know if we know what we're going to get. And like Tyson said a long time, everybody's got a game plan to get punched in the mouth. So they can come out in completely different structure. We have to adapt and adjust. Our defense has been multiple. Our offense has been multiple. We practice a lot against each other. So we get some curveballs. Hopefully we can manage it, not give up a lot of negative plays early. And if we do get some deuces, we can clean it up and get back on the right side if we get caught off guard. And that's always that thing that can happen in game 1 here.
You've mentioned your selling of practice and how to practice. So how has the reception been on that of turning those guys into loving what the grind actually is? Have you seen the return?
To some degree. Now, again, it's and when I listen to some guys that have been around or observed, I hear more positive. I mean, to me, sometimes I want it to be better. But when I listen to some guys that have observed practices through the years, whether it be some of our team doctors or former or staff guys or former players, I think when people watch us practice, they've been impressed with our the way our guys are going about it. I've been impressed. I always think you can practice better, harder. But our kids, our coaches have done a good job educating our kids. Our kids are trying. They're doing really well.
Yeah, so I've got a question about the special teams, specifically like kicker and punter. Very young looking at it. One sophomore, three freshmen
One's
on the
like
team.
23, so you ain't that young.
Yeah,
You know?
at least, yeah. So I'm just curious, thoughts on
I
how
got
that's
Joe coming in here, and I wanted Joe to come in today, and this would probably be a good segue. We're about done here. And not that we need to start, but I thought it'd be good to have Joe, our special teams coordinator, come in because he is a defensive coach, but his main first job, and he wants to be a defensive coach, a D coordinator. He doesn't want to be a special teams guru. But he played all the teams as a player in his playing days in college. He was running the teams at Nevada, so he's in charge of our teams. And I knew you guys, first of all, our long snapper has been with him that he knows. And so we feel good about him. And then Caleb Matthews, who did a lot of it for us last year, managed a lot, is our backup. Feel really good about the snapping position. Punter, Scott Stanford's been with us. And actually, when Angus showed up, Angus Davies, Scott really improved. So I think I think we got a good leg. I think we got a guy that can do some multiple kicks. We're not trying to be too smart early. Don't know what we're getting out of these guys, special teams exactly. We'll see. But I think we've got some good leg strength there. What we're trying to do is make sure we get the right guys on the bus and the right guys on the teams. So, for example, punt team's one of the biggest plays in the game. So you got some defensive starters that are going to be covering that kick because we need a good snap, we need a good operation time, we need a good punt, and we need some guys busting butt down the protecting and then busting down the field to help us start in the best defensive position we can. We start the drive. So you'll see some defensive starters on punting. That is the number one team. Kickoff, we got a transfer from Pennsylvania that handled their kicking last year. Been very, very consistent. Leg strength-wise, maybe not the huge leg where he's going to kick 55-yarders, but his consistency, his placement on kickoffs. Chase Meyer's been very, very good. So, and he's kicked last year. Our punter started at West Virginia about 4 or 5 years ago and dropped out of school, went back to Australia. He's been there's a little cult over there called Pro Kick or something it is over there in the Aussie world. It's awesome. And he called my man Johnny up, and back in December, he called me in December and said, "Coach, I got you a punter," because he knew our guy was leaving because they were all kind of in cahoots together. So he knew Wilson was walking out. So I had a call. I was back on a recruiting weekend in December in Ohio, and we're already talking about our punter. And he had a guy. He said, "I got a guy for you." And it was a guy. And I said, "Who we got to beat?" He said, "Coach, I don't do it. I got a guy for you." And I said, "Well, listen, I need a good one now because we got to play good defense. I need a good. So don't be shipping me some guy that's not good." So we'll see how he does. But I will say this: Scott Stanford has improved significantly. So I like the competition in kicking. And Joe can talk about that. But I think we've got some guys. We'll have Presley, Cam Benjamin, Jordan Ford. Some of those guys will be returners. Kittleman's been a holder. Scott Stanford's the backup. So I don't feel it's a rookie group. And in practice, I'm not concerned with the kick operation. I'm more concerned about the protections and the coverage guys more than the kickers right now.
You have a good story from Lawrence Taylor's time in Chapel Hill.
Man, I was scared to death of it. Okay? I mean, in a good way. Like, I lived in Airing House, which was the dorm that looked right over to the baseball field on the 4th floor. I was in 423. We had suites of 4. And it was like an X-shaped building. And you'd go in your suite, and you'd have, 2 dorms, 2 guys, in a bathroom. So our starting linebacker, Daryl Nicholson, was in the suite before me. Then it was me as a walk-on freshman. And then LT and Amos Lawrence. Famous Amos Lawrence was a great player. For us, I think Tony Dorsett was the first guy to go 1,000 yards 4 years in a row. And then famous Amos did it my freshman year. And so they were in the next suite. Well, anyway, so I would try to make eye contact, anything, whatever. But true story, I had to play scout team that year, and we only had 5 scout team linemen, so you win every play. And so I know what it's like to be a scout team guy. So, and so every day, and we had a protection back then that as a coach I've never done. A lot of guys in the NFL would know it's called molly protection, and that's where you're supposed to check the linebacker. And as you back up, if the linebacker don't come, you got to block this guy coming off the edge. So I would be looking at Nicholson, and Lawrence Taylor would go, I never touched him, never saw it. And so I can tell you because of that, I never believed in that protection, so I've never ran it my whole life. And a lot of NFL teams do, and it's a great protection. It works, but that was a matchup. What was cool is that young GA, Sherman Lewis was a great coach in the NFL, been around a lot of places in college, was at Green Bay, Stanford. He came in to work out one of our players, and we said, can you visit our coaches and talk to us about some schemes? So he was going through the Bill Walsh offense. He goes, okay, now on this play, da-da-da-da-da. Now, if this is Lawrence Taylor, we do it like this. Okay, now this play, you got you, you got you, you got him, you got him. Now, if that's Lawrence Taylor, we do it like this. I go, hey, I know that because I know what it's like to never block Lawrence Taylor for what it's worth. So, great player. And what was neat about that is here's one of the guys that truly changed the game, and nobody knew it was changing. Like when we went to Northwestern and did the no huddle, we weren't trying to be cute or fat. We just trying to find a niche because we didn't have tight ends fullbacks. Well, Hugh Green and Lawrence Taylor changed football because they were the first two guys that came off the edge and created havoc. Nobody did that. For the first 2 years at North Carolina, and Carolina beat William and Mary to get LT. For the first 2 years at North Carolina, they tried to play Lawrence Taylor linebacker, and it wasn't instinctive. And nobody just came off the edge, and made plays. He made, last time North Carolina won the ACC was my freshman year. Last time we won it. And his first goal for Clemson, at Clemson, and 98 made 4 tackles. He made all 4. I remember one time NC State came, sprinted out, and he hurdled the first running back, threw the second running back down, sacked the quarterback. I went, wow, one guy on 3. Boom. So he was, but what was unique is nobody played that way. So nobody knew what we were, it was just like, what are you watching? And special athlete, changed pro and into college football forever. One of the premier ones, I guess.
Yeah, really quick. You're a golf guy, so I know you probably got rituals and traditions and stuff. You do anything on game day?
I don't have rituals, but I have routines. There are routines that we follow. Like what songs are played on the iPad. That's a routine. What road we drive. Used to always get like the raspberry. You like the raspberry iced tea at Quick Trips? It's a nice little go-to. They have their fancy one, but the old raspberry one over there in the fountain side is hard to beat now. And you get the cookies and cream Hershey little bar, little white. That's kind of, I did it in Indiana every year. At Ohio State, for example, every Monday I went to Skyline Chili. Now it's the Coney Islander right across the way here. So I mean, I just have quote routines, and the routine started, quite honestly, back in '95 when Sean Payton was with us at Miami, Ohio, and Aaron Cromer, some guys, and we lost our first game to Ball State. So on that Monday, we went jogging and went to Skyline Chili, and we beat Kent. And the next week, we went jogging and went to Skyline Chili, and we beat Northwestern the year they won the Big Ten championship. So from then on, every Monday was Skyline Chili Day. So me and the Coney Islander, we're going to be good friends. All right. See you guys.